Hello everyone, this is Starling Jones, and this is my first live organ session. And basically the topic that was asked about was, basically just the organ and the drawbars. So first of all, this is a Hammond XK3 that we'll be working with this evening. And just to give you a few things, it only has 2 sets of drawbars. On a regular organ, it would have 4 sets. So what I like to do, I like to approach the organ from the standpoint of just be familiar with the drawbars. This is Starling Jones, and this is my first live organ session. Sorry about that. I had it going in the background there, but I cut that off. And basically, this is my first live organ session, and I'm just going to go over the drawbars and play a few songs and just show you some things that I like to do on the organ. Now, in order to understand the organ, you have your drawbars here. This is a 16. This is a 5 1/3. This is a 8. This is a 4, 2 2/3, 2, 1 3/5, 1 1/3, and then you have your 1. And this will control the top set. Then you have over here to the right, you have the same numbers, sets of drawbars, and even control the bottom. All right, and then you have these two. You have a 16 and an 8, which control the foot pedal. So it just depends on how you like to set them up as to what you would play during service. So I don't know all of the drawbar settings by hand or by heart. So what I do, you see I have my laptop sitting here, so I have some information on there that I use, that I practice with, but I like to use my iPad. And on my iPad, I have all of, you might not be able to see that really well, but I have a PDF document on my iPad, and it has all of the different drawbar settings that I like to use. You can download this free of charge on the mastertheorgannow.com website. So feel free to go there, check that out. You can download this for free. It has drawbar settings that you can use for your left hand, your right hand, or your upper and your lower register, as well as bass foot pedals. And then there's another page, another 2 pages, that just has some general drawbar settings that I like to use in service. So at any given point, like I said, on this organ you only have the 2 sets of drawbars, but on a regular organ you would have 4. So when you get in service, you might want to go ahead and just set up 4 settings automatically. You may have one that does a rumble, and if you do the rumble, you can have that up top. You notice how they do that. Well, basically you just hit these first 4 to 5 notes and you just rumble on that. And generally they pull out the first 4. 16, the 5 1/3, the 8 and the 4. You generally pull those 4 out if you're ever going to rumble. And a lot of times people do it on the top. Okay. To control this top set, I'm using this key right here. This is the first preset, or it's the first note that I can use. The rest of these over here are already presets that you can use, but this controls the top. And like I said, you can use the top drawbars up here. Vice versa below. I use this key, and then I can use this set using these. So just to go over some drawbar settings I like to use in service, I'll use, just say, the classic B3 sound for hymns. And I'm going to put that right here. The classic B3 sound for hymns, you would have, I put that on the bottom, so I'll go ahead and close those up. I would have an 8 for my 16. I'd have an 8 for my 5 1/3. I'm not sure, I'm clicking it to try again. For some reason, let me open this up. Okay, sorry about that. It dropped off. So again, basically the only thing I went over was that you have your drawbars. You can use different settings. If you have 4 drawbars, you want to go ahead and just set up 4 sets or 4 sounds so you can use them in service. These are for your bass pedal or your foot pedals. And we just did the classic B3 sound for hymns. So now I'm going to do one. This is called the Brooklyn style. And I also want to give a shout out to Mr. Samuel Tolbert. He had a lot of useful information that I did use to put in a PDF document for the drawbar settings. So the Brooklyn style consists of a 16 all the way at 8, and it consists of a 4 all the way at 8, and it consists of a 2 all the way at 8. And I'm putting all these sounds down here. I really don't need these, even though I pulled them out the last time. That's a nice sound. Now you'll notice my left hand didn't go and hit the tremolo switch, because on this particular organ there's a foot switch that I can use. So I just hit it with my right foot. It's connected to the expression pedal. Pull this out for the rumble. I'll go ahead and cut that off. Again, there are many different ways you can approach the organ. Those are 2 pretty good sounds that I like to use. There's another one called Kojic Hymns. It is 8/8, 6/6, 6. Excuse me. I take that back. It's 2 8s, 2 6s. Then I have 8s the rest of the way. And that would be, what I said it was, the Kojic Hymns. Yeah, wrong key. But you get the idea. That's the sound. Now, one thing you want to do is, being that you have both drawbars, even though I only have 2, I could have a nice, strong sound up here. So I'll put that sound up here, 6. And then I could have a worship sound down here. So I put the Kojic Hymn up here. Now let me go down to the bottom. I'll put, let's see. That's a nice sound. And then always don't be afraid to play around with it. So the only thing I had out there was a 16 and an 8. So while you're playing, don't be afraid to change it up a little bit. again when you have to take it back down. And like I said, just be creative. Change it up a little bit. Let's see what else we got. And again, I just want to thank those of you who joined. Like I said, this is my first one, but things are getting a little better. We're just testing it out now to see how the Google Hangout works and how it how we can use it, to better help musicians, on the net. So you'll learn something from organ, from me. You can learn something from other musicians on the net, and just enhance all of your abilities. All right, let's see. So let's see. Let me look for another one. This one is called Very Pleasant. You can see you got 3/8. So a 16, a 5 1/3, and an 8 is all at full. And then your 2 2/3 is at 4. That's not too bad of a sound. I'm going to change it up to another sound. This one is called Sunday Morning. This is only a 16 and a 4. And one thing to pay attention to is when you pull out the drawbars, just notice how the notes shift on the keyboard or on the register, so you'll know which side to play on. So just for instance, I'm playing here. You see how the tone changes? It went up. And they complement each other. This is a 16 and an 8. It went even higher. It went even higher. So you'll notice each time you use a different register, or a different drawbar, that is, it changes the tone so that it goes up the scale up on the organ here. So that's why you want to use your various combinations. So I'm using this 16, this 8, I'm using a 4, and a 2, and a 1. You'll see how they coincide, they go together. 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1, they're all pulled out. So I'll just drop those down, and I'm going to go back to, I'm just going to try the 5 1/3, the 2 1/3. I'm going to try these. Let me see what I get. That doesn't sound too hot. So that's why you got to use the other drawbars to complement these notes, or complement the sounds. Notice how this dropped it or shifted the notes down here. So instead of playing here, I need to play up here. Let me change that up. Now you see how easily I changed and went from pretty forceful sound down to a mellow sound, and I'll say that just all comes from just practicing and flowing with the service and being more familiar with the drawbars. So up here, and you just need to change your sound. It'll take time to practice getting that smoothly. Little stuff like that. Let's see what else. We'll go over this one sound. Says it's Joy Def 1. Okay, let's see what that is. Joy Def 1. That is a 888, a 4, 000, excuse me, and then an 8, and then a 0 again. Let's see what that sounds like. Now there are some other settings you can use, like for percussion, and a lot of times percussion is going to be used on the top register. So you can do that. It just so happens on this one I can do like a manual bass, I could do some reverb, and then there's also a demo mode. But for the purpose of this, it's just I just want you to get familiar with both sets of registers. This organ has 2 sets of drawbars. Most have 4. So just play around with it. Just get a feel for your particular organ. Set up some sounds before service starts, and then just flow with the service. Another sound that I'm going to show you is called Captain Jack. Let's see what that is. Captain Jack 8. So I have a 16. That's an 8. I have a 1 3/5, a 1 1/3, and a 1 that is at an 8. Then I have a 2 at 6, and then I don't have anything else. That doesn't sound too bad, but you might want to add something else to that. That doesn't sound too bad. Let's try another one. Let's see. It's called Funky Percussion. Okay, let's see what that one is. I'll put that one up here. That will be 6 and 6. So you'll have a 16 at 6, and you'll have a 4 at 6. You could probably use that for doing some solos, and then play your chords with your left hand at the bottom. I'm going to have to learn how to do a whole lot more of that, but basically you can. All right, let's go with another sound. Okay, what is blues standard? Oh, blues standard, lead bass. I showed you that earlier. That's just one of the names on the sheet where you have the first 4 pulled out, the 16, the 5 and a third, the 8 and the 4. And so that's what you have there. Like I see, you can do the rumbler. Let's see. One thing, 1 second. Let me check out something here. All right, let's see. We have the rock solo shouting. You have the 3. Just a 16, a 5 and a third, and an 8. Let me put that at the bottom. Yeah, been a while since I did that one. Only thing I did there, I mean, just do it at your leisure. Slide on the organ song. I think I did a worship where I just used these 2. Let's see what else we got here. White shade of pale. Okay, that is, I got a 6, 2 8s, a 6, and all zeros for the rest. So I have a 16 at 6, a 5 and a third at 8, a 8 at 8, and a 4 at 6. And this is titled Whiter Shade of Pale. Let's see what we got here. That's pretty good. Now I'm going to double up and put a sound on the upper register and a sound on the lower register. On the first drawbar sheet, a lot of times you want to do your solos up here and do your left hand chords on the bottom. So just say for meditation, I'm going to use, let's see, 0, 0, 7, 8, 2 zeros, 4, 5, and 3. So I'll have a 8 at 7. I'll have a 4 at 8. I'll have a 1 3/5 at 4. I'll have a 1 1/3 at 5, and I'll have a 1 at 3. So use that for your soloing, and then at the bottom, you can have a 6 on the 8. You can have a 7 on the 4. You have a 5 on the 1 1/3. You can have a 4 on your 1 1/3. So again, you can chord with your left hand. Something along those lines. Let's see, theater organ, you would have for your upper, you have 16 at 8. You have a 7, another 8 for your 8. You have a 6, 5, 6, 4, 6, and a 7. Then on your lower register, you can have your 8 and your 4 will both be at 8. Your 2 2/3 and your 2 can be at 4. And everything else can be turned off. So let's see what those two sounds sound like. And your solo will come on the top end. just showing you what those two sounds sound like. And then you would play them together. Your solo on top, chords on the bottom. Well, that pretty much covers a lot of the different sounds that we have. And like I said, you can go to mastertheorgannow.com and download this free PDF document that has all of the drawbar settings in it that I've gone over, plus the host of other drawbar settings that I haven't gone over. So for the next few minutes, I'm just going to put a track on and play a few songs. Let's see. I normally use my iPad, to do different tracks. So let me pull up some drum patterns. Let me turn the volume up on this. All right, let's see what this sounds like. Pays to practice. So now I know what to practice. Oh well, like I said, I need to practice on a lot of different things and go over some lessons and go over some different licks and things of that nature. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off a little short. We said we're going to go from about 8 to 9, but appreciate those who joined, and it looks like we don't have anybody else online, so I'll go ahead and stop the broadcast, and I'm gonna look for the feedback and do it another day.